Hey everybody, this is episode 100 of What You Drinking. We got a nice little crowd going. I think we might have some more joining us later on, but man, this is like a little over 2 years I think we've been doing this, and so we got some new faces even. Kalen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We've got some mutual friends, so I like that word of mouth is spreading. So thanks again for joining.
Absolutely.
You picked a good episode. No holds barred. You bring over whatever you want, whatever you got, and the fancier the better, I would say, for this episode. We're doing a milestone. So we got Chris and Dan and Skylar. Thank you guys for joining.
Thanks.
100 episodes! All right. Well, thanks guys for joining. I appreciate it. Let's see what the newest member here has. Kalen, what are you drinking there?
Yes. So to celebrate, I didn't pull anything from the cellar, but I did pull a Port Brewing Anniversary Ale. They brew it every May. This just came out, and of all places to pick it up, Costco had it. So, so this Imperial IPA, it's 11.0. Man, it's a hoppy beast, that's for sure. So. Cheers to you guys. Here's to 100, and here's to 100 more. So, nice. Congratulations, man. That's excellent.
Now you're out in California, am I?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm sitting actually outside because there's a damn heat wave through here. I mean, I really can't complain, but I'm not sitting inside right now. So we're gonna take it outdoors and just enjoy the weather while we can here.
Nice. Thanks. Well, thanks for joining, man.
No doubt.
What do you got there, Chris? I know this is dedicated to Dan somehow, so let's hear.
So Dan went on a rant on one of the posts that I made last week about high-priced beers, so I just broke out the Evil Twin Glazed Imperial. This is nice. I think 2014 is what I got on the cap, but I think I had a question mark next to it, so I might have bought it in end of 2013. So, and this is Bourbon County looking, even though it's a porter. And you guys missed the head. I don't know if I can top it off. The head was it was like copper almost. It was really weird. It was, you can see that at all on cam at all, but that it's a little short head now, but yeah, it's really good. It's sticky. It's not boozy. Obviously, it's sat a while, and it's got a lot of chocolate and coffee going on, so it might as well be a stout, in my opinion at least, but it's a porter, and I'll take it.
Nice. It looks really good, man. What glass is that? Is that bare hands or was that
bare hands? Yep. You see it down rolling through South Bend. If you're going past Three Floyds at east, it's right off the toll road. Actually, check it out. I call them Three Floyds Junior because they're real small and they're brewing some great beers. They just started bottling too. So
nice. Cool, man. Dan, what you got there?
Well, speaking of Indiana, I've got, and you're going to laugh at me, Chris, because this is a pretty pricey beer. It's it's the local barrel-aged from Three Floyds. Wow. So it's the 2014 bottle number 249 of 1432 for whatever, It's all the same batch, so it's like it doesn't matter what order the bottle went in. Yeah, it's a 10% ABV. There's, I kind of had a little trepidation about this one because there's been a lot of chatter at like Beer Advocate and Rate Beer that it's either people who just have a thing in for Three Floyds or it's really there that this has been infected or some bottles have been infected. So far it doesn't smell infected. It's not smelling funky.
I'll bet you majority of the people who call that beer infected have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. They're just the first time at Dark Lord Day, and they just want to have their say and rip on it somehow in some way.
Nowadays, this is so not infected. It's so not infected.
Well, nowadays, I mean, I guess I was going to say nowadays what is infected, but I guess it's any strain that you wouldn't normally want in that batch, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, and that can happen with the barrel aging stuff too, because you can get stray yeast strains sticking in the wood on you.
Sure.
That sounds bad, actually. Anyway, sorry, but no, this I have one more bottle, so I'm gonna have to share the next one because enjoying this one alone kind of feels wrong.
But in the right ways.
But it's episode 100, exactly, in all the right ways, and it's episode 100, so I'm gonna be wrong in all the right ways.
Nice. No, that's good, man. It looks awesome. I've only had the vanilla bean and Dark Lord, and I can't remember what the other one was, but I've only had one or two of the variants.
No, and this isn't Dark Lord. This is the Moloko. So, aren't you gonna get that?
No.
That is, we're drinking beer.
When I saw that bottle, I was almost like, damn, I almost pulled out. My bottle looks identical to that, but that's the Murdered Out Stout, which is the barrel-aged baller stout stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
that shit is really good.
Yeah, but I was like, man, if I drink that on a Wednesday night, I might as well just call in sick tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, that's the good thing about the Moloko is that it's only clocking in at 10% instead of like the 15% you're getting with the baller stout and the Dark Lord is just gonna kill you.
Right.
So.
Well, your wife's there. You should share that. You should share some of that Dark Lord.
Would you like some? It's not Dark Lord.
Well, whatever.
Would you like some?
Skylar, I saw your bottle cap. I think I have an idea of what you got there.
Yeah, I figured for episode 100, I decided I want to go all out, and I searched through the beer cellar, started looking at the dustier bottle, and I decided tonight I'm going to drink 4 beers that are all 4 years old. First up is a 4-year-old Dogfish Head 20-minute.
Jesus.
After that, I'll be drinking a 4-year-old Stone Chocolate Cherry Stout.
Oh, yeah.
After that, it'll be a 4-year-old New Holland Dragon's Milk.
Nice.
I love that beer.
A 4-year-old Pumpkin, because it was the last 4-year-old guy. I didn't want to put a 5 in there or something. Anyway, this is definitely the most age I've ever had on a 120-minute, and it's the most dramatic change.
Wow.
The aroma altogether, there is absolutely no aroma of hops in here.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I would say there's almost like a coffee-like taste to it. I could just be insane, but it's this extreme boozy sweetness, and
Nice.
yeah, there's nothing like that. That's just a crazy flavor.
That's cool. I've never had one of those aged. Dan, you said you have one on hand, don't you?
I've got a couple in the basement that I haven't been touching for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Skylar, you had one on the show before that was aged like 2 years, right?
Yeah, that was one of my 2-year aged, and the difference from that from a fresh one to a 2-year to a 4-year, completely different.
Well, you're going to have to tell me how the pumpkin tastes because around here, as recently as at least a couple of months ago, there were still bottles and bottles of pumpkin on the shelves from last fall. Yeah. So, let the shop do the aging for you, put it on discount, and then buy it.
Nice. Well, my beer is dedicated to you, Chris. This is one of your favorites.
Oh,
yeah. But not your favorite brewery, but I'll bet you can't say anything bad about this.
No, you can't.
We've got a 1-year aged 2014 Black Note, and I put this up there with Bourbon County Stout. It's very similar. It's got like the same bourbon quality, obviously, but it didn't have much head to it when I poured it, so it's pretty pretty flat looking, but it's good, man. It's just real caramely, and yeah, it's just fantastic.
We could go gross on this, and I could drink this next and drink a little bit of Uranus. I got several of those I haven't drank yet, so.
Nice. How is that? It sounded like you liked it a lot.
It was different. It's a black IPA. It's is it an Imperial? Yeah, it's a black double IPA. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, they can do hop slant pretty well. Let's just go black on them. And it was weird. It didn't have that typical bitterness that you get from the roasted malts. So the hops weren't overpowering. So it was almost like a mellow black IPA. To me, it was kind of unremarkable. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't. It was actually easier to drink, because it wasn't as harsh on your palate. But it was okay. It was different. I expected it more to blow me away a little bit, but because obviously Bell's can do a double IPA. You know, I'm just assuming they just change up the malt bill on that a little bit, but I don't know. It was okay.
Was it you that was claiming that the Hop Slam and something else was exactly the same, or
Yeah, aged Hop Slam versus God dang it,
the Oracle.
Oracle.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Oracle. Yeah, and it wasn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't actually me who suggested it. It was somebody else on Google Plus suggested it, and then I started to run with it, and then it just became to me. It was all Chris's idea. No.
Nice. Well, what's been going on with you guys? So, what part of California at, Caleb?
I'm in Southern California, right in the heart of Irvine, which is the cookie cutter capital of the world. But yeah, but we get a lot of great craft beers from cruising through here. The likes of Stone through Escondido, San Marcos with Port Brewing Co., and then some of the offshoot ones. So we have Noble Ale Works starting to pick up right near Anaheim, and then a few more really small niche ones. And it's fantastic right now. It's kind of the best of both worlds going down. So yeah, I live in Southern California, but originally born and raised in the Bay Area. Finally got a Warriors win last night. It's been a long time coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's been going on. And congratulations to you guys, Blackhawks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you smoked the Ducks here, and there are a lot of people crying around here, but screw that, dude. You guys deserved it, and that's fantastic.
So, that was a good series, though. I mean,
that was great. Yeah.
That was a good
So
series.
I have a basketball Golden State Oakland question. This morning
Yes.
on the local kind of their national a little bit morning show, they were talking about, you know, the Warriors win in. They're like, okay, so most cities have like a little ticker tape parade or something like that, and they were like, is there a good 4-block section of Oakland where they could do something like that and celebrate without getting like murdered?
No.
Or
No, not at all. They better start at 6 a.m. and hope it doesn't last. Yeah, it's not a great section. I think I see. Is that Gary Payton? You got the glove behind you there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gary
the
Payton,
glove.
Barbie. Oh, this
Yeah.
is Sean Kemp. And that's Gary.
Oh, the
there.
Kemp. Okay. Yeah, Kemp putting on all the weight, but yeah.
And babies, yeah.
But yeah, they got to start early and probably end by 8 a.m. or else, yeah, it's gonna be awful. But yeah, Oakland is it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
Definitely is, and that's why they're moving it over to San Francisco here in about 2 years. But
Oh, are they? Golden State will be
Yeah.
over in San Fran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they'll cross over the bay, and they'll have a new stadium out there. I don't know if you guys ever saw the original designs that they had, but some designer made the top of it look like a bidet, and so that design got shot down really fast.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's stuck at Soldier Field here in Chicago, so you've still got the toilet.
Yeah,
seat.
that is
Toilet.
whack.
That's
Like,
bad.
what's up
That
with
is-
that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, if you've
We're
seen that,
still
man,
wondering.
it's like it looks like a donut-shaped UFO landed around the old stadium. It's just
Hey, it's
weird.
like the ship from Flight of the Navigator, and they stuck it in like the old skeleton of the original stadium. It's weird.
Oh man,
But
I love it.
strangely, the toilet seat motif actually works considering the performance of the Bears in the last few years. So, you know, it's kind of what ended up belonging below that rim has been there for a while now.
I
that's
think it was
where-
an homage. I think it was an homage to the 40
Yeah.
years of the Warrior drought. So
There
exactly.
you go.
At least one drought's done around here. So yeah, we're saving water and we're drinking these beers, and that's
Saving
about all
water,
we can do to
yeah.
help. That's it.
Yeah, what are they saying how that's affecting the breweries out there as far as the water
You know,
goes?
no, not to that level. It's really more the bottled water companies, your Arrowhead drinking water kind of thing. Those are the ones that are having major problems right now. But the breweries themselves, they haven't been gouged just yet. I could see, price hikes and whatnot for all the water consumption, but for the most part, no, they've been just fine.
I sat in with Craft Beer Nation. They were at Savor a couple weeks ago, and I sat in and we got to interview.
Everybody, I saw you with Sam.
Yeah, I had like
Whatcha?
4 questions lined up, and I only got one to fire. I only got time to fire off one, but we sat with I don't know, I think it was the owner of Lagunitas, but it was like the head brewer or something like that. And one of the things I asked him is the fact that Lagunitas obviously moved there or made another brew house there in Chicago. Obviously, everyone kind of thought distribution's one of the main driving factors.
Definitely.
And then I said, what about water? I mean, because now you're by the Great Lakes. And he said, oh, definitely, that's one of the big ones. He said they pull it in right from Lake Michigan, and they have to add a little funk back to it because it's a little too clean. I was surprised at that. then I asked him. I said, "Do you guys? Hopefully, you don't use the Chicago River water on St. Patty's Day. 'Cause that posed a problem." He totally didn't get that at all. Use Chicago.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't have to be St. Patty's Day. It could be any day of the year. You don't want that water.
True. Yeah.
It is disgusting. I kayaked in that shit once, and I swear the stuff I saw floating by me, I was like, this is the last time I'm doing that here. Like a rat, like bloated up to about that size. Floating by.
But in a good way. Yeah, poodle.
Yeah, but no, that's cool. It's interesting though, because there's so many breweries out in California. Do you have any like small ones like within walking distance from you or anything like that?
Yeah, there's one called North Bay, very small, and they actually supply for just a few pizza joints kind of thing. Their distribution is truly only to a few pizza places themselves. Outside of that, there's not much. There's Bayhawk, that's near UCI, and Steelhead, but they actually moved that operation into Placentia. So for the most part, Irvine's pretty quiet, but the surrounding areas have slowly picked up their craft brew scene. Absolutely.
Nice. So what's going on the professional side there, Skylar? What's going on at the brewery? You're the main man here.
Oh shit! Lots going on here in Texas. For one, for a while, man, I was dying brewing because our brew house is actually located outside, and I'm sitting there in 100-degree heat.
Oh yeah.
And the past couple days haven't been bad because we just got a tropical storm, which I'm currently waiting out. Yeah, I just moved. As you noticed, my backgrounds have changed, and I'm on a crappy quality camera. In the middle of moving, I moved to San Leon, Texas. It's actually closer to the brewery, and so I'm pretty much at the beach house on the water during a tropical storm. It's fun.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
As far as selling beer goes, it seems like the hotter it gets, the more beer people are going to drink. And storm isn't going to stop anyone from drinking. So we're doing really well. We're starting to get more and more bars. I think we're in nearly 30 bars right now in the local Galveston area. So
are you guys sticking to the flagships, or are you kind of experimenting with anything right now? Or
definitely experimenting with a lot of things, especially for the summer. I'm always brewing crazy beers. I'm currently brewing for a Christmas in July event. I want to do like all Christmas beers because I miss them. And I miss tasting them. I don't care what damn time of the year it is.
That's a cool idea, though. No brewery does that, Christmas in July. That's a great idea.
For 1 week in July, I'm going to have all like winter warmers and gingerbread stouts. I'm doing a pine needle ale, all sorts of stuff. So I'm always looking for like different cool things. 4th of July, I'm going to release a Firecracker IPA, which is an IPA brewed with jalapeno and serrano peppers. So yeah, it never gets boring. It's not easy, but it's never boring.
Now that pepper beer, is that something that you like as well, or is that just something because they're getting pretty popular? I'm not the biggest fan of them, but
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I'm always looking for those styles that I've had, and for some reason I don't like. I don't believe in a style that I don't like. I just feel like I've had bad representations of styles. So if I have a lot of styles like red ales, I was pissed off for the longest time with red ales because everyone was over hopping. And you know, I'm a hop head. I enjoy hops, but on a red ale, I want to accentuate that roastiness of the malt without going overboard. Have a little bit of that sweetness. So whenever I find a style like that I don't like, I just brew it myself so I can better understand it. With pepper beers, everyone always goes over on the pepper. It's either not enough or it's too much. So I've been experimenting with small, like 2-3 gallon batches on the perfect way to add pepper spice with the pepper flavor, and I found it out.
Nice. I love that because you're right. That's the best philosophy I've ever heard about it, because there's not a bad version. It's just or not a bad style, but just bad examples of them.
Mhm.
I had a really spiced beer, not spiced, but it was a pepper beer. But so I was in Milwaukee this past weekend, and we went to a couple of places. We got on the mini tour over at Lakefront, which was a really fun time, and it's pretty rare that you can actually get on that tour because it's usually pretty the line. There's like a line out the door like hours before it even starts. Oh man, there's some crazy nature going on. So, anyways, so we hopped all over the place, and I had 2 beers that I'd like to make note of. There's a brewery that I'm almost never impressed by, but it's always a good place to go to, and we knew that they would have the TVs for the Blackhawks game this past Saturday. So we went to the Horny Goat Brewing Company,
Yeah.
and their beers are usually subpar, but for some reason this time around their menu had changed. Their beer list was like double or triple. I don't know if they got new brewers or they just switched up their program or whatever. But they had a peanut butter chocolate porter that was right up there in my opinion with the Terrapin. What is the one that I had in South Carolina? I remember I talked about it on the show before, but it was just like it. It was so good. But the other thing we went to was this bar. If you're ever in Milwaukee, Chris, it sounded like you kind of occasionally will be in that neck of the woods, more apt than anyone else here on the list besides Dan. But there's a place there called Sugar Maple, and we had been there before, and it's definitely like a super hipster. When we went there the first time, it was very the staff wasn't very friendly, and they were kind of just they seemed annoyed if you ordered a beer or something. But this time around, they were super friendly. The beers were amazing, and one of the ones I had, I didn't think I would like, but we were like, all right, this list is great. But what do you have in the back that's not on here that you want to give us? Because we're here for the good shit. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, we don't have anything in the back. He's like, but we've got one that I want you to try. It's amazing. It's from Founders. And I thought I've had everything from Founders that you could possibly get, because you go to Founders and you could get almost anything from there in Chicago. So it's not. So I was surprised to find something that I'd never heard of, and so it was the All Day IPA was the base beer, but then they used, if any of you guys watched the Brewdog show, when they did Grand Rapids, they partnered with some kind of like hot sauce place, the ones that did
pickling,
barrel aged, Bliss. It was like Bliss, thank you. It was a barrel aged maple syrup, and they had barrel aged this and that. So
they're the ones that they use the maple. They take bourbon barrels, put maple syrup in it to make their bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, and then the barrels are then sold to Founders to make this bad beer right here, CBS. So.
Oh yeah, that stuff's horrible.
So at first I didn't think I liked this beer. It was burning the shit out of my lips. I mean, it was crazy. But then I wanted like another one right after I was done. It was so good, and I was like, "What's the name of this beer?" And he's like, "Bliss." And I was like, "Oh, that's the hot sauce place, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think so." And I was like, "That is amazing." It was really, really good. If you see it anywhere, like on a tap anywhere in Michigan or Dan in Chicago. Do you get Founders out there in California, Ken?
No, we don't. I mean, unless you're trading with somebody, but no, distribution, no, you can't.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they just started getting it in Texas, I think, because I remember Skylar for a while wasn't getting Founders until probably March, I think.
Drive up there to get it, and then last year they started distribution down here.
Nice.
So here's to hope we get it in California, because Founders make some really good stuff.
No, absolutely. It's going to be some time, but I can't wait if it finally does. Make its distribution in California. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's longer than like 2 years, because they're going through actually consecutive growth. spurts over at the brewery.
Like year after year, they're just growing. Like it's crazy.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
There's a insatiable thirst for it for sure. I mean, you read everything, and it's got to make its way over here eventually. It's just a matter of time.
And I know everyone's doing like one of those, session IPAs, and most people are kind of annoyed by them eventually at this point. But I think the All Day is probably one of the best ones out there, along with that the Pinner from Oscar Blues. I put those two right on top, of each other.
Terrapins is called, by the way, the Terrapin peanut butter beer you're referring to is Liquid Bliss.
That's it.
Of all ironic names.
Yep.
And the actual official name of the beer you're talking about from Founders is called Bliss Blast All Day IPA.
Nice.
And I think it just came out because I don't see anything on their website about it, but I see release parties in May and June. And there's obviously some Beer Advocate and Untapped check-ins as well. So yeah, look for that Bliss Blast All Day IPA.
Dude, get it? It's so freaking good. So that was my example of a pepper beer that I would drink over and over again. It was unreal. I woke up the next morning like, I want that beer again. It was like I was tasting it in my mind. Like it was so good.
I was like that with the local brewery here in Michigan, Outsides, when they came out with the Mayan Mocha Stout.
Oh, they are so good.
That brewery is amazing. I want to go there.
Yeah, that was real, just a subtle pepper note, and then add just all that, chocolate and coffee and blah blah blah. It was just yum.
So I was not a fan of that the Rogue Sriracha beer. I know Dan, I know you like that one, and
I didn't go out of my way for it, but it was all right.
They were raving about it last night on Share a Beer, and I was like, I just don't. I mean, and I love sriracha. I put it on everything. I love hot sauce, and I love that kind of stuff on my food. But that beer was just, it was a miss for me. I don't know. It sounded like you had something to say about that, Skylar.
Yeah, I still haven't got that one yet.
It's a cool bottle. I love the bottle.
Yeah, Big Red.
Typical Rogue.
Last time, that was totally my idea. I should have done it. I just cracked open the second one of the night for me. This is the Cherry Chocolate Stout, which was a collaboration between Stone, Trogs, and Jason Fields and Kevin Shepard, homebrewers. And this came out in 2011. Got to give a shout out to my buddy and brewmaster in crime, AJ Cooner. He gave me this bottle while I was visiting him in Pennsylvania. And the first thing I noticed when I poured was there is still a very, very noticeable cherry. Like, you could smell it in the air.
Huh.
And tart?
No, it's actually very, very, very smooth. It's more noticeable in the aroma than it is in the flavor. I feel like the vanilla notes come out a little bit stronger. That could be because, 4 years old. But damn, that is a very drinkable beer.
Isn't it amazing that beer can sit in a container like that for 4 years and come out and taste, decent? What other liquid, maybe wine, obviously, or some other spirit, but like milk isn't going to do that.
Hell no.
I mean, it will ferment and it will become something else.
It'll be chunky, Kool-Aid, come on. Pepsi. I saw somebody one time drink a Pepsi Clear that sat for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Sick.
Oh, man, that's wrong.
That stuff is wrong fresh, man.
That's right.
That's why they pulled it.
It just reminds me of that. You ever remember when that shit was out and they did on Saturday Night Live? It was like something else. It was like cleared gravy, and they were like pouring it out. Something that just looked like some kind of jelly pouring out on it.
Cleared gravy. Oh, that's messed up.
That's awesome. But I don't even remember even hearing about that beer before, Skylar. It's 4 years ago that was out?
Yeah, that was a Stone collaboration from 2011, back when they had the little logos of each collaborator on there. It was something I always wanted, and then AJ was like, "Oh yeah, I have a few of these in the basement," so he gave me one. But
he has got to have like the world's hugest basement. Because you mentioned a beer, and he's like, yeah, I got 2 of those.
I gotta say, the dude is a pack rat of beer, and I don't know where he gets some of the beer he gets. I don't ask questions.
He pays well for a lot of them. I know.
He trades, but he used to be. I don't know if he still is. He used to be the buyer of a local beer bar, and so they'd bring in something rare, 2 cases, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll buy that. We're not gonna. No, we probably won't sell it here in the beer bar, but I'll buy both cases and just throw it at home."
Probably spends half his salary on beer, but you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
I will say the whole clear discussion got me thinking about something I thought.
No clear beers, dude. Don't even try it.
No clear beers. But I'm thinking, you know how with home brewers you have the carboys and they're glass, so they're clear and you can see through them.
Right.
On the professional side, we have these big stainless steel fermenters. I was like, wouldn't that be cool to have like see-through stainless steel fermenters? Obviously stainless steel, but what if it was affordable to make a glass fermenter, like 40 barrels, and just watch that thing ferment?
Dude, you could charge admission just to sit there and watch it with popcorn, just sitting there watching that shit just like bubble around.
But no one could see it because it would be dark all the time. Otherwise, you could never have a hoppy beer in your fermenter.
You can make maybe smaller batches, not like 5 gallon, but something bigger and make it out of the glass / heavy duty plastic that they make like aquariums out of.
Yeah.
Use that and then and do smaller batches that you're only going to serve in your brewery maybe, and have that up front with glass. So when people walk in, they walk by, that's the beer that's fermenting right now, and you get to see all the bugs, going up or whatever,
Chris, thanks to you.
It's brilliant.
An aquarium, putting it in the tap room, and I'm fermenting beer in it.
Hell yeah! Awesome. It'll be like the dolphins when you go down below and you're watching the dolphins swim around. Just have the beer like brewing in there. Just like do a big like sour batch where you have an open fermentation tank.
Your cool ship, a big cool ship.
Exactly.
Wow.
What an idea!
I like these ideas.
See what happens when I drink?
Badass ideas.
So it's not going to be a thing now. It's like good things happen with Chris.
I keep telling my boss, I'm like, if you let me drink at work, we will go places. It's not happening.
That's awesome. So, anything in the beer news world? I can't remember last week we were talking about Brewdog's opening up their place out in Ohio.
Yep.
That should be interesting. I was making a joke how they were probably just using that show as a way to like scope out the United States to figure out where they want to put their brewery. But I've heard they have how many breweries or like pubs and bars do they have? Because I heard a crazy number and I can't remember what it was, but it was way higher than I imagined. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of. I don't know how many breweries they got. I've never heard of a lot of breweries, but I know they've got a lot of bars.
Like bars or brew pubs or whatever, They're all like, according to the show when they were in their hometown, it looked like 4 or 5 of them with complete different looks and styles to them. So it's kind of cool.
Only thing I know that you guys would be interested in news-wise is Goose Island is making their alumni series. Have you heard about that yet?
Yeah, I saw the video on their YouTube channel today.
Yeah, it's not going to be bottled, but in their brew pub, they're bringing back brewers that I guess they fired. I don't know that.
No.
Or that have left. Their first one was the big dude that does the ciders of Greg Hall.
Yeah.
So
he used to be part owner. He was one of the guys that bought out. He was the son of who's the owner now?
Daryl Hall?
No.
There you go. I was gonna say that, man.
No, I can't remember his name. But the original
it mentions it in the article.
Yeah, he's the guy that owns Virtue Cider now. When he took the buyout from AB and then he started his cider company.
So wait, is Josh Deeth doing one then, or who was that at Firestone Walker? Was he an alum?
Yeah, he was. What's his name?
John Halls is.
John Halls is dead. That's it. Yeah.
It's just a Daryl.
I mean, they could do that series with a million people. I mean, they've spawned so many different guys that opened their own place or went somewhere also big. But yeah, that one I forget what was this style. It's like an English mild, I think they're making.
Called mild ale. Yep, it's an English dark mild called mild. It was like one of the beers I guess he used to brew back in the day. That AB InBev cut probably, fucking bastard.
That tap room I heard is really, really cool.
Those old English styles, a lot of people kind of underestimate their worth. And I brew a mild at Galveston Bay, call it the Golden Mild, and it's probably one of my more popular beers right now, and I wasn't expecting it. Those really smooth, easy drinking, very English, very estery beers. I think that might be a thing that comes back. Just like IPAs are really popular now, Stout is really popular. What if English beers, like old English beers, came back in popularity? You got your ESBs and mild.
I was going to say, for warmer weather brewers like you, I mean, they've got to be a godsend in the sense that fermentation temperatures are right for them where you are. I mean, you try to do a lager where you are, especially in your system, that's got to be a bad day for you.
Well, I've got the equipment to dial in whatever temperature I want. But yeah, when it comes to just like letting things sit out, they do what they do. Like I'm doing saisons during lower temperatures to get those really bold, crazy, really funky flavors. But for the most part, yeah, I can do lagers just fine.
Okay, that's good.
Well, Goose Island's IPA is an English style IPA, and that beer still stands as one of my favorite IPAs out there. I'll still buy that shit because it's like you can buy a 12-pack for $12 here in Chicago. That stuff, and it's solid, and I'll buy that regularly.
Oh yeah, I love English style IPAs.
I wonder if like those English styles, because they're typically darker, but they're malt forward. A lot of people that try to get into craft beer, if they grab a lighter beer that's hopped up, obviously a pale ale or even an IPA, they're all freaked out. It's too hoppy. They don't like it, and they kind of shy away. And and sometimes they're surprised by a stout or a porter, and this English might fall into that too, where it's not hop forward, it's more malt forward, and it's more palatable for their virgin palates, if you want to put a name on it, I guess. Maybe that's why it's kind of successful.
It's just kind of funny if you think about it, because the craft beer here, like back in the 90s, probably all of the craft beer was based off of English styles. Mm-hmm. And then
or German,
but then we put our own American twist on it to make everything as big and strong as possible. And now in England, they're mirroring what the United States is doing, and now Skylar wants us to go back to English again. It's just going to keep going back and forth. It's kind of funny to me if you think about it.
Cyclic. It's very cyclic, probably.
That is. Everything's cyclical.
Exactly.
Well, it's kind of weird too, because our brew club is trying to get a BJCP a judges sort of boot camp going. And so I was talking to the guy who's running it. His name's Dan Morey. He's been a long-time club member. He's not a full-time member these days. But I was talking to him because he's been a BJCP since forever. And I was like, well, with the new guidelines coming out in 2015, that's a lot of styles to memorize. And he had a very interesting take on styles, generally speaking, and sort of assessing beer specifically. And that was that the styles have always been kind of an arbitrary collection of a bunch of different kind of beers that happen to be in a specific region. And what you really wanted to do was be able to identify the good characteristics of beer and the things that went wrong in a beer as far as sensory components went. So it was interesting because he really did come up with the Michael Jackson era of beer styles. And this is kind of what defines beer. And he's saying, yeah, that only goes so far. It's really good beer is good beer, and what counts is how it tastes and why it tastes that way. So I always found that kind of interesting, because that really is very much against the sort of like English style, Belgian style, blah, 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 blah. So.
Dan, you have any of this yet? This is
I have not. No, I have not.
It's probably one of the best beer names ever.
Yeah.
Fist City.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, what's going
guys.
on, Mike? Thanks for joining, man. Glad you can make it. You got the kids to bed finally?
Hey.
Yeah, it was a struggle tonight.
Yeah, that sucks. Sorry to hear
Yeah.
that.
That's all right. That's all right. I wasn't gonna jump on, but it being the 100th episode and all, I didn't want to miss it.
Appreciate it, man.
And I was going to say, it sounds like you need a beer now, too. So that's what I heard.
Yeah, probably.
What do you have there?
I don't have anything. I literally just freed up and figured I'd jump on for a few.
Oh, man, I appreciate
You
it.
need to have when I was raising my daughter when she was younger, I had like a Batman utility belt of beer spreading dirt, changing the diaper. You're like, fuck yeah.
I was just
Why
saying,
don't you guys give me a rundown of what you have? I'll
let Kaylin go
live
first.
vicariously through you.
You guys know each other, so I'll let Kaylin go first.
Port Brew Co. just outside of Escondido. Their anniversary ale, because of the anniversary of these guys, it's fantastic. This is my first time hopping on, so they're just right down the street from us. But man, it's a hoppy little bastard. It's huge. This thing's going crazy, so I love it.
Cool glass too. I want to get one of those.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, no markings, nothing. The wife gave it to me for an early Valentine's Day gift, so I can't complain.
It's a good style. It just goes with any style
Anything.
beer. That's why I like that glass.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, you're right. It definitely.
And then I already had the Bell's Black Note, and I have since then moved to the Fist City from Revolution. It's their new pale ale that they're canning. Well, you like that name, Chris?
What's the other one? That's the what do they call
Shocker.
The Shocker.
Only for that one. It's like the fist.
They haven't done that yet.
I'm in the gutter. Sorry.
No, the thing I like about this can, it's totally old style. It's got the gold top and the colors and the style of it is very old stylish.
That reminds me of the Oscar Blues Pinners like that too.
Yeah, a little bit. You're right.
Very much so.
When fist became a verb. Yeah.
Well, if you ever go to Revolution,
Action
all their taps are fists and everything.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Good point. All right, I'll take my mind out of the gutter.
That's the reason. No, stay in the gutter. That makes the show interesting, sir.
Hey, it's new to me. I don't see it over here in the West. So it's fantastic.
Well, you know my wife, Ronnie. She said to say hi. We got married at Revolution, so it's a place that we frequent very often.
That's great.
Nice.
So, Chris, what did you have again?
Real quick, just Evil Twin glazed Imperial donut break, 11% porter. I don't think it's it's not bourbon barrel aged. Imperial porter malt beverage brewed with coffee and a bunch of what do they call artificial ingredients, natural flavors. I'm sorry. Aspartame, whatever, I don't know. It's Evil Twin, fuck them. I
have the Three Floyd Barrel Aged Moloko 2014, which is a very nice. It's a very nice. I highly recommend it.
Still finishing that bottle up, or you just pour another half of it?
Yeah, this is the second half of it. So.
Speaking of which, I might go drink some Uranus.
He's been waiting all night to do that.
He's gonna drink Uranus in Fist City. And Skylar's going over to another room. It looks like. What beer are you on? 2 or 3?
I am on number 3, and I'm feeling it.
I figured you might at this point in the show.
He's gotten to the mobile point. He's mobile.
I've got my laptop to my phone because we haven't got the internet set up at the new house yet. So I've been doing it off my hotspot. I used all my data, so now I'm on my phone.
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
Oh, no.
That's great.
Let me look what it's doing to him.
Let me turn on my wireless tethering. Maybe you can reach my signal.
Here we go. Let's see if I can get it on.
Dragon.
That beer.
Yeah, this beer, Dragon's Milk.
That's a good one, man. That beer, and that's so easily available here in Chicago too. And
in Michigan it is too. Yeah,
I'll bet. But it is so underrated. Nobody talks about that shit anymore. And that was like one of the biggest craft beers. Like when I first started drinking that stuff, it was like that was amazing to me. It was so different.
I have never had it before. I bought it when I was traveling up the East Coast. I found it in New Jersey. And I've always heard about it, but as a Texan, I have I've never had anything from Holland.
Whoa!
Chips in, bring it on into the port.
Kevin, was that you?
I don't think so.
What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
I couldn't miss episode 100.
Where's your tuxedo, man?
Yeah.
What do you have there?
I got an Allagash triple.
Yeah.
All right.
It's one that I like a lot, and I took one a couple years ago and just tucked it away to see how it tasted a couple years later, and so here we are.
So it's a 2-year-old.
What year is it? I guess it's probably close to
It's 1985.
It's not that old.
Hey, you can't do that. We've been watching Back to the Future.
I was just gonna say
that's
I just took off my life vest and my air shoes.
And it's round.
I think it's from 2012. So 2.5 years, call it.
Nice. So how's it drinking?
It's what's that?
How's it drinking?
It's much bolder than like a fresh one. Like it's not syrupy, but it's a little towards syrupy compared to like the crisp. Normally there's a lot of carbonation on these, and it seems like the carbonation has kind of gone away a little bit. It's interesting. I don't know if better or worse, just different.
Sweet. Well, we were. I kind of talked a little bit about the Milwaukee trip. Any beers? I mentioned the Bliss Blast.
Oh yeah,
IPA.
That was a conversation piece.
Yes. Any beers you want to note or anything you want to make mention of?
No, most of the places, it was some of the places. It was just about like at lakefront, just a cool place. You get to sit on the river, and people are basically handing you beers as they leave because they're giving you those little wooden chips that are worth a free beer. So it's super laid back, and it was that's just so much fun.
We drank for like two hours maybe on like $8 each. We spent $8 each there, and we drank forever. It was
How fun.
crazy.
nice.
It was a good time. But I was saying also the Horny Goat, usually not very impressive. They greatly improved their beer list, and their quality of the beers that we had were pretty good.
Yeah, that exceeded expectations. We went there for the hockey game, and we ended up having good beers too.
I thought you were going to say, and we left there horny goats.
Hello.
All right, so
did you guys run into any of my favorite Wisconsin beer, which is the Oso Lumulin Maximus?
Oh, Lupulus, or yeah,
No, that's
Lupulin Maximus. Yeah.
I mean, you can get that in Wisconsin pretty much anywhere, but also in Chicago, it's pretty well
With the
available.
hop cones, that one?
Yep.
Oh, God, I love that beer. That beer, I literally, the wife thinks I may be cheating on her with that beer.
Texting you in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Oh, God. I think it's just because of the fat of having the hop cone in there. But it tastes great. I always get all excited about the damn thing. So
It's a good beer.
About going up to Oso, and then we looked and saw it was like another 4 hours.
Yeah,
it's up there. Well, I mean, because Milwaukee's maybe like an hour and a half away from Terranina, right? Is that
Not even an hour. Yeah.
Oh no, it's like a half hour, 45 minutes.
Oso's in Stevens Point area, isn't it? Oh, there goes the bottles. Gone. Bye, Dan.
Bye, see ya.
No.
He just got robbed.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
His wife walked up and grabbed the bottle and walked away.
I was like, what is going on?
She walked right up, grabbed it, and walked away. Didn't even ask. It was like drive by in Stony Island. It was like gone.
Approaching the hour mark.
So, Chris, you were asking us about a friend who's talking about going to 18th Street. Did they end up going, or did they end up?
I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm going to text him right now. So he was. I'm not sure exactly where does he live. He lives. It seemed like he was. I stayed at his place. We went to the beer camp last year, and it seemed like we went straight. But I obviously my direction's off. But we went straight towards Navy Pier from where he's at. So maybe north a little bit, but like straight west, and it wasn't that far. I mean, could we see downtown? I don't remember. But anyways, he's not that far from downtown. He's there's some big cemetery. Does that ring a bell?
There's dead people all over Chicago.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a lot of murders, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he's not
the
that far.
gangsters and.
Yeah, I don't remember how far. Yeah, I don't remember where. Anyways, that's where he lives, and when I told him where it was at, he was like, "Dude," and he's just kind of getting into craft beer and stuff, sticking with the hoppy stuff mostly. But I told him about it, and he's like, "Oh, it's Gary," and that's why I posted. I'm like, "What do I say to this guy to convince him to swing in 18th Street and Gary?" Because right now he's like, "Fuck that."
Yeah,
and Dan, I copied exactly Dan's quote and sent it back to him in text, and I never heard back from him. So.
I mean, it's not the greatest of areas, but it's and 18th Street is doing their job of improving the area and bringing in the right kind of crowd. So
right.
It's a good thing. It's a good place. I haven't been there, but I've heard great things. The beers I've had are amazing. So, Dan, you've been there before, and you said you brought your kids there before. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I said in the post. Is like, you know what? We managed to survive lunch there. I had a couple of beers. Nobody keyed our car, much less mugged us, jumped us, murdered us, or otherwise assaulted us sexually, physically, or otherwise. So it's like, yeah, okay. There's poverty around, and you see it, but like Mike said, there's also some good things going on there too. So yeah, go see it. It's a good place.
Okay, I'm gonna try to text him here and ask him if he went, because he never did text me back. Maybe he didn't get my text, but
he was shamed. He was shamed.
All right, so for next week, anyone who wants to join us, I think we're gonna do the wheel here that we normally do. Do we? I don't think we need to add anything. We've got a good amount of stuff on here, and for the most part, we can add things next week if you like. But let's go ahead and give her a spin and see what we're gonna do next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Ooh, new beer. All right, so what do we have here? Do you guys read this, or can you tell? Hefeweizen. All right, good.
There you go. Just in time for the summer season. So.
Actually, yeah, it'll be summer solstice have rolled through, right? Yes.
Yep.
Oh, boat's back.
There goes the ship again,
man.
Pulling in, docking in. Now the shipping, or is it docking the bay?
Yeah, watching the tide just roll away.
Yeah.
What's that beer you were just handing there?
So you were talking about that mole stout.
Oh,
talking about
there
that
you go.
spice. Yeah. Pop this one down.
Who is that by?
That's Ska, isn't it?
Is it
Ska
Scott?
Brewing, yeah.
Out
It's
of
been sitting there.
They're out
I'll look it up
of
for you.
Colorado.
Durango.
Colorado, that's right.
It is Colorado, yep.
One of my first beer reviews I ever did, I ripped on them.
Yeah, this is probably gonna be terrible.
Well, no, the beer was good, but I just thought the name of how do you name your brewery after a music genre that died?
Yeah, that either people loved or hated, right? It's like
Yeah,
there's nobody
it
in
was-
between. Nobody's like, oh, I love. Yeah, nobody goes out and listens to ska anymore.
Right. It was
Oh,
like,
God.
and not to say ska wasn't as popular as grunge, but could you imagine Grunge Brewing Company? And everyone, their label is a guy with heroin needles sticking out of his arm and ripped
Yeah.
jeans,
Yeah.
flannel shirt on. It's like, but
Spend
that
enough
one,
time in Seattle, you might.
yes, yeah, exactly. I don't know what the deal is with that. But anyways, I digress.
Their beers are good. No, I don't think I've had a bad beer from them, to be honest.
Yeah, the chili's not even there. It's not even close. I like the pepper though. I love the spice, and I love your guys' idea. The fish tank. Come on.
That's gotta
Come
happen.
on.
You know,
It
I've
is.
seen,
That's gotta happen.
I've seen some restaurants / bars where they have the TVs like pointing up from the floor. They'll have like little 18-inch or 20-inch TVs mounted in the floor, and you walk over them as you're waiting in line to come into the bar, or you'll walk through the bar and there'll be TVs scattered sporadically through the bar. You could do a one big area that's just this big plexiglass sheet that's about 24, 36 inches above the top of the tank, and you're looking right down, and that that foamy mass is bubbling away.
Oh, you don't make it
Love
even
it.
better? This would be like the ultimate. It's like you have it super huge, and you have sharks in it, and you have a guy in there feeding sharks in the tank with the beer. It would never work, but it would be awesome. Sorry. And with that, I am definitely finishing my beer.
Now you remind me I have to be second for Shark Week. Yeah, I already have a beer called Hammerhead. I gotta add something to it.
Well, I do want to thank you guys for doing this. We've been doing this for like a little over 2 years now, and it's something I look forward to every week. I get to hang out with you guys and drink beers and talk about beers from your neck of the woods and stuff. So there would be no show without you guys doing this. It started with me doing like one episode. The first episode was just me talking to myself for like 20 minutes. And then I finally convinced Kevin to join, and then I've slowly brought you guys all in. So I love this little community, and I want to thank you guys for doing this whenever you can every week. And for anyone who's watching, thank you. Anyone who subscribes to us and forwards our show to their friends to drink some beers and watch when they have nothing else better to do. I thank you guys, and hope to keep doing this and do another 100 in a couple years, and we'll just keep drinking some beers.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Here.
And,
Congratulations.
Thank you guys, and thanks for joining this week. I appreciate it for you guys making the time to do it. So we'll be back next week with Hefeweizen's for episode 101.
Right.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Cheers.
Take it easy.
Take care.